afternoon, Vaqueros. This is Griselda Castilla, Associate Vice President for Strategic Enrollment. I hope that all of you are staying safe. Thank you for joining me this afternoon to review our Fall Liftoff program. And I know some of you are also wondering about our Fall Cash Grant, so I'll be covering that information too. Your ability to continue your education due to the impacts of COVID-19 is of utmost importance to UTRGV. For this reason, we have developed the Fall Liftoff program to provide you some additional financial support. So what exactly is the Fall Liftoff program? The Fall Liftoff program is available for eligible students to receive up to $1,000 towards tuition and mandatory fees. This award is being applied to a student's account after all gift aid gets applied first. So if you are receiving financial aid like Pell Grant and Texas Grant, those awards will get applied first. If you still have an outstanding tuition and fee balance, then the UTRGV Liftoff program will go in and pay up to $1,000. So just keep that in mind that our Fall Liftoff program does take into account your financial aid awards first. And then we do the calculation to determine if you have a balance. And if you still have a balance, then we will assist you up to $1,000. If, for example, your balance is only $700, the Fall Liftoff program will pay the $700. If your balance, let's say, is $1,200, we will go in and pay $1,000, and then you will only have to pay the $200 out of pocket. Some of you this program is available to all of our students. So this includes both our undergraduate and our graduate students, as well as our new students that are starting with us. Whether you're a new undergraduate student or a new graduate student, you do have to, you will be eligible to receive this award. I have my first question. Do students have to be enrolled 12 hours or is it 9? So for the Fall Liftoff program, you do have to be enrolled full-time. The full-time requirement for undergraduate students is 12 hours. For graduate students, it's 9 hours. For our graduate students that are in any of our accelerated online programs, we do look at your total enrollment between Fall Module 1 and Fall Module 2. So as long as the total enrollment between both modules is 9 hours, you will be eligible to receive the Liftoff program. I know some of you have reached out to us because for the modules, you can only enroll 6 hours in one module at a time, and that's fine. If you are enrolled in 6 hours Module 1 and 3 hours Module 2 or another 6 hours Module 2, we are just looking for a total of 9 hours between both modules to determine your eligibility. So yes, for our graduate students, we're only looking for 9 hours. I have my next question. Financial aid gave me $1,000 for this fall. Aside from the Liftoff, is there any other way I can get help financially from UTRGV? So Jose, if you have not done your financial aid application, please do so as soon as possible. I know a lot of students may think that they may not qualify for financial aid, and that's why they do not do their FAFSA. Because of COVID, there are some flexibilities that our financial aid office has. For example, if your family's income changed in 2020 due to loss of employment or reduction in hours, then we can adjust the income that had been reported and to ensure that we're able to award you as much as possible. So as of right now, Jose, we do have our Fall Liftoff program. And again, I encourage you to do your financial aid application if you haven't already. And then in a little bit, I'll talk about our cash grant. Our cash grants that will be available in the fall semester. So that's another form of aid that will be available to all of our students. Cynthia is asking me, if I graduate in the fall but only need 3 classes, which would be 10, will I still qualify? Absolutely, Cynthia. If you are graduating this fall semester, whether you're an undergraduate or a graduate student, and you don't need to be enrolled full-time, we do not want you to enroll in courses that you really do not need. So as long as you have applied for graduation, then we will go ahead and look for that when we're verifying enrollment. So if you haven't applied for graduation, Cynthia, I encourage you to do that as soon as possible, we basically look for the graduation application fee on your student account, and that lets us know that you are expected to graduate this fall semester. So again, I don't want you to take classes that you do not need. As far as the off-track, the Stay on Track program, a lot of you receive that communication. For financial aid purposes, we can only award you financial aid for courses that are applicable to your degree plan. If you don't frequently visit DegreeWorks, I encourage you to do so. You can access DegreeWorks through Assist. And on there, you can verify if the courses that you are taking are applicable to your degree plan. Now, that's for financial aid. So keep that in mind. For financial aid, we do have to check that you are taking courses that are applicable to your degree plan. For the Fall Liftoff program, we are just checking that you are enrolled full-time, which is the 12 hours. But I know your question had a little bit as far as Liftoff and the Stay on Track program as well. So I just wanted to clarify the differences between those two. Alondra, my degree allows me to only do 6 hours of graduate school to stay on track. Alondra, if your program has those types of restrictions, our graduate college is communicating with our program coordinator. So I strongly recommend that you have your program coordinator reach out to our graduate college, and they will be providing me a list of those programs that do not allow students to take more than 6 hours. So you may still qualify, Alondra, as long as your program is one of those that I received from the graduate college. So I would not say that you're not eligible, but you may be if your program has that type of restriction. Is registering for classes enough to get the fall Liftoff, or should we also pay the bill before August 1? So the enrollment deadline for the fall Liftoff program is August 1. You must be enrolled full-time by August 1. So those of you that have not registered yet, I encourage you to register as soon as possible. For those of you that are registered but are not registered full-time, please ensure that you either enroll for the 12 hours if you're an undergraduate student, or the 9 hours if you are a graduate student. So the August 1 deadline is for the registration deadline for Liftoff. The tuition due date for the fall semester is not until, and let me check here really quick what our first due date for the fall semester is August 18th. So you will be able to take out an emergency loan. Esperanza, I believe you were asking if you can still get an emergency loan, and yes, you can. Now, when we are doing the calculation for the Liftoff, we only take into account gift aid. So if you are receiving Pell Grant, Texas Grant, scholarships, we take that into account. But if you are taking out student loans or an emergency loan or an installment plan, those are not put into the calculation because we know that those are monies that you have to pay back. So just keep that in mind when we are doing our calculation for the Liftoff program. We are only looking at gift aid. Karima is asking if I only need to pay $400 out of pocket after financial aid, can the fall Liftoff pay for that amount? That's exactly how it works, Karima. As long as you're enrolled full-time, we will do the calculation to add your total tuition and fees, subtract any gift aid, and if any outstanding balance that you may have, we will cover through the Liftoff program up to $1,000. So in your scenario, we will cover those $400 as long as you're registered full-time by August 1. So just keep that in mind. Larissa is asking, when will we start seeing the Liftoff in Assist? The deadline is August 1, next week. Shortly after our August 1 deadline, we will start working on posting those awards. Our goal is to have those awards reflecting in your student account before the August 18th deadline. So for sure, definitely by the August 18th deadline, but our goal is to do that before then, but no later than the August 18th, so all of you can know if you do have any expenses that you do have to pay out of pocket after your financial aid and Liftoff are applied. So just keep that in mind. Cecilia is asking, when does financial aid cover our tuition and fees? Our financial aid office is currently in the process of what we call authorizing aid. We should have that readily available within the next couple of days, and you will receive a notification from us letting you know that your aid is authorized, so you can go in and verify that your aid will be enough to cover your tuition and fees. Again, as I mentioned a little while ago, financial aid will only pay for courses that are applicable to your degree plan. So if pay close attention to the homepage on the financial aid tab in Assist. On there, you will see a box that lets you know if you are enrolled in any classes that are not applicable to your degree plan. So keep that in mind as you're looking at your authorized aid, and if you're wondering why not everything is being authorized, go check your financial aid tab to see if there are any classes that we're identifying as not applicable to your degree plan. Just really quick, my next question is, if I'm registered for a graduate program and I'm taking 2 classes per module, I've tried applying, but I can't because it says I'm not registered full-time. I am not sure exactly what program you are applying for, Jessica. For graduate students, if you are in our accelerated online programs, you can register for 6 hours module 1 and for either 3 or another 6 hours for module 2, and we'll be adding the total enrollment between both modules to look for the 9-hour enrollment. For our graduate students, we are looking for 9 hours. Jordan is asking, is there any financial aid for students who are half-time? The Fall Liftoff program, unfortunately, does have a full-time enrollment requirement. For financial aid, Jordan, there are some programs like our student loans and other grants that may allow you to receive aid based on half-time enrollment. Again, if you have not done your FAFSA, it's not too late. You can still do your financial aid application. I always tell our students, just do your FAFSA. Don't assume that you don't qualify. Again, because of COVID, there are certain things that our financial aid office can take into consideration if your household income changed in 2020. So students, please ensure that you complete your financial aid application if you haven't already. Is the Fall Liftoff considered a loan? It is not. It's basically a scholarship. And you do not have to repay it back. So just keep that in mind. The Fall Liftoff program is not a loan. This award is only for tuition and mandatory fees. I know some of you have asked about the insurance fee, books, and so forth. The Fall Liftoff program is only for tuition and mandatory fees. The Fall Liftoff program is available to all students as long as you meet the enrollment requirements. So this includes our new and our continuing undergraduates, our graduate students, our transfer students, our transient students, those students that are only here for our 1 or 2 semesters. It also includes our international students, our students in our accelerated online program. So basically, the Fall Liftoff is available to all of our students as long as you are enrolled full-time. You do not have to accept the Liftoff award, Ophelia. Next week, we will begin processing those awards with a goal to be finalized by August 18th, and you will automatically see it applied to your student account. We always send notifications via your UTRGV email to let you know when we have processed the award for you. So you can either be checking your student account or be on the lookout for an email from us in your UTRGV email informing you that we have processed the award. But you don't have to accept it. As long as you meet the enrollment requirements, we are identifying our students and we will be applying the award. So you don't have to apply. You don't have to accept. We will automatically apply it to your tuition account as long as you meet the enrollment requirement and you have an outstanding tuition and fee balance. When will I receive it? Again, our goal is to have the awards finalized by August 18th. Is there a cutoff date? Our cutoff date is basically our enrollment deadline, which is August 1. So students, you have until Sunday at midnight to register if you haven't already. And if you're not enrolled full-time, ensure that you meet the enrollment requirement by that time. Again, 12 hours for our undergraduate students and 9 hours for our graduate students. There's no application. Again, we will automatically apply the award to your student account. How is the award determined? So let me review how the calculation will work. As long as you're enrolled full-time, at least 12 hours or 9 for our graduate students, we add up your tuition and fees. We subtract your gift aid. This is only what we consider our free money, such as Pell Grant, Texas Grant, scholarships. We subtract that from your total tuition and fee charges. Whatever balance you have, then we will go ahead and cover that balance up to $1,000. So if your balance is only $400, then we will pay those $400. If your balance is $1,200, we will go in and pay $1,000, and then you will only have to worry about paying the remaining $200. So that is how we do the fall liftoff calculation. Can I receive a partial award if I don't enroll full-time? The enrollment requirement is full-time. So if you are not enrolled full-time, you won't be eligible to receive this award. However, if you are a student that is registering, that is planning to graduate this semester, please ensure that you file for graduation. We will be checking the student's account to verify that they have applied and that the graduation application fee is reflected on the student account. So those of you that cannot register full-time because you are graduating, we don't want you to take classes that you do not need. But the way that we know that you're graduating is by verifying your graduation application. So if you haven't already applied for graduation, I encourage you to do that as soon as possible. That will definitely help us and identify you and ensure that we allow you to take advantage of this program. What if I take more than 12 hours? Will I get extra monies from the liftoff? So the cap for the liftoff is $1,000. Now, for undergraduate students, keep in mind that tuition is capped at 12 hours. So any courses, any hours that you take above 12 are essentially free. You do not get charged additional tuition beyond 12 hours. So although the fall liftoff program is only $1,000 and we're only looking for 12 hours of enrollment, if you can take more classes, I encourage you to do so because essentially they are free. So again, enrolling above 12 hours does not get you additional liftoff funding, but those courses are essentially free because of our 12-hour undergraduate tuition cap. So keep that in mind for those of you that do want to take more than 12 hours, you can definitely do so. I know some of you may have already paid for your tuition and fees because you're able to see your balance on your student account. If you have already paid your tuition and fees and you qualify for the liftoff, then essentially we will be reimbursing you up to $1,000 depending on what your balance was. But for those of you that have paid in advance and do qualify for the liftoff, you more than likely will get a reimbursement from us. Again, we will still do the calculation to determine how much your tuition and fee balance was after gift aid. And if you paid that difference out of pocket, then we'll go ahead and reimburse you up to $1,000. So just keep that in mind. I am getting a lot of questions on our Stay on Track communications that have been going out to our students. And so I'm glad that you guys are reading your emails. For financial aid purposes, we can only award financial aid for courses that are eligible towards your degree plan. So we have been sending out notifications to students, letting them know what Stay on Track is. And then if you are not on track, meaning that you are taking classes that, as far as we can see, are not applicable to your degree plan, we are alerting you because financial aid will not be able to pay for those classes. So if you are on financial aid, it's very important that you check your student, your UTRGV email And you can always go at any time to assist to your financial aid tab. And on their homepage, you are going to see a box that lists any classes that we've identified that are not applicable to your degree plan. So more than anything, this may happen because you have not declared your major, minor, or concentration. Sometimes our students follow, a paper form, or they're going by what they're seeing in the catalog. But for financial aid purposes, we have to go by what's on your student account in our student information system. So please ensure that you have declared your proper major, minor, and concentration that you are following. And if not, submit that change of major as soon as possible. If you are taking a course because an advisor has advised you that you can substitute that course for another course that's on your degree plan, please ensure that you work with your advisor to submit that substitution or waiver as soon as possible so that financial aid can pay for those classes. So that's what Stay on Track is all about. It's basically to keep our students informed about courses that are not applicable to their degree plan. Now, that's for Stay on Track for our financial aid programs. For our Liftoff program, we are only looking at the total enrollment. So for undergraduates, we're looking for the 12 hours. For graduates, we're looking at 9 hours. So 12 undergrad, 9 grad. But for financial aid, the rules are different, and the financial aid does have to verify that the courses that they're paying for are applicable to your degree plan. Do international students have to stay on track? Some of our international students do apply for financial aid, especially for federal loans. So if you are an international student that is relying on a federal loan to assist with your educational expenses, then yes, we do have to follow the Stay on Track rules for that federal loan. If you're paying out of pocket, if you're not receiving any type of financial aid, you don't have to worry about Stay on Track. However, please ensure that you are taking courses that are applicable to your degree plan. We don't want anyone taking unnecessary coursework. We don't want you to be paying for courses or investing time and effort into a class that may not be needed. The best way for you to verify what courses you need are by checking your DegreeWorks. You can access DegreeWorks through Assist. And on there, you will see what major, minor concentration we have in our student information system. And then there's different blocks that lets you know where you're at in regards to your major, minor concentration, what's been applied and what's pending. DegreeWorks is the tool that we use to certify your degree. So please ensure that you are following DegreeWorks and that you're not going by a paper document or the catalog. The catalog definitely provides excellent guidelines, but again, in order for us to certify your degree and to pay your financial aid, DegreeWorks is the tool that we use. So if you have not looked at DegreeWorks, I encourage you to do that as quickly as possible and as frequently as possible, especially as you're planning your enrollment for future semesters. It's very important that you do look at DegreeWorks. Cynthia's asking about free electives and so forth. Some degree plans do give students the option to take some free electives. Please ensure as you are planning those electives that you review those with your academic advisor, Cynthia, to ensure that the courses that you are identifying as free electives will actually get applied as free electives. If any of you have unique situations or individual questions regarding Stay on Track on the communication that we sent out, we do have an email account that's being monitored by a team of representatives from our financial aid office, from our registrar office, and from our academic advising office, and from our degree certification team. And they monitor that email all day long, and we are answering your questions as quickly as we can. So stay on track at utrgv.edu. That is the email address that you can reach out to if you have a specific question regarding a course that you're seeing is not getting paid by financial aid, or that we are identifying that is not part of your degree plan. So again, you can reach us via email at our Stay on Track email. And again, check your degree works. It's very important that you check your degree works. Becca's asking, what if our master's program does not allow us to register for more than 6 hours? Can we still receive the Liftoff? Becca, our graduate college is working with the program coordinators to identify the programs that have those limitations, and they will be providing those programs to me. So I would recommend that you reach out to your program coordinator to verify if he or she has submitted that request to our graduate college. If we do receive confirmation, then we will go ahead and honor that request. So check again, Becca, with your program coordinator. What if we are, Sharon, the same thing. If you are in your last 6 hours of your clinical teaching, if you are graduating, we'll look for your graduation application. If you are not graduating, but you can only do those 6 hours for your clinical teaching, again, ask your program coordinator to reach out to our graduate college, and they are putting that list together for us. Tori has posted on the FAQ, our chat, the Stay on Track email. So for those of you that are sending me in all these questions about Stay on Track, that's the email address that you can send your specific questions to. Jimmy is asking about, he is in an accelerated program. That's correct. So Jimmy, for students in our accelerated programs, you guys have 2 modules that you can enroll for. So you have Fall Module 1 and Fall Module 2. We are looking at the total enrollment between both of those modules. So if you are enrolled 6 hours Module 1 and at least 3 hours Module 2, we are adding that total enrollment to verify that you have the 9 hours that we're looking for. So for our students in our accelerated online programs, you can still benefit from this program as long as the total enrollment between both modules is 9 hours. So just keep that in mind. Let me see what else is coming in. Students that are pursuing a graduate certificate, those hours, for fall liftoff purposes, we are looking at total enrollment. So those courses that you're enrolled in for your graduate certificate will be counted towards the 9-hour enrollment that we're looking for. So yes, our graduate students that are pursuing a certificate program, we are accounting for those courses in the total enrollment hours. So you will be able to qualify as long as the total between the total enrollment is 9, regardless of whether it's for certificates or not. So that's our fall Liftoff program. I'll keep on answering more of the Liftoff programs, but let me cover a little bit about our cash grants, because I know some of you those of you that were with us last fall and this past spring and this summer, some of you are aware about our cash grant programs that we've been issuing out to our students. So I am happy to announce that we will be providing cash grants to our students in the fall semester. So cash grants will be available once again for this fall semester. Again, the cash grants, the fall liftoff program is being provided by UTRGV monies. These are funds that the institution is making available to help our students with their tuition and fee expenses. The cash grants are being funded by the federal government. This is they're called HEERF monies. It's an acronym for Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund. So higher ed institutions received funding from the federal government so that we can provide some additional funding assistance to our students due to everything that all of you have had to deal with due to COVID. So we will be providing cash grants to our students once again in the fall semester. There are rules that we do have to follow. As with anything else, these are federal funds, so the U.S. government always provides us a listing of rules that we have to abide by. I am happy to report that the monies that we received are actually more lenient than they were before. CARES money, which was the first set of funding that we received for COVID relief, was way more stringent than the HERF monies that we have received. So now we are able to award a broader number of our students. Essentially, all of our students in the fall semester will be able to benefit from the cash grants. There are some rules that we have to follow. However, like I mentioned, per the U.S. Department of Education, institutions are required to prioritize students with exceptional need. At UTRGV, our definition of our students that have exceptional need are those students that have a zero expected family contribution as determined by their FAFSA. So if your FAFSA determined that you have a zero estimated family contribution, then you are a student with exceptional need. Students with exceptional need will be receiving $850. All other students that have an EFC of at least $1 or do not have an EFC because you have not done your FAFSA, then you will receive $750. So again, students with exceptional need, zero EFC, will get $850. Everyone else, if you have a FAFSA and you have an EFC of $1 or more, you will get a $750. If you have not done your FAFSA, you will still be eligible to receive the cash grant, but it will be $750. So again, it's all of our students at UTRGV will be able to receive funding from the cash grants. So this is our undergraduate and our graduate students. These are our international students will be eligible for these cash grants. I know I've seen a couple of those questions coming in. So yes, our international students will be eligible for the cash grants. Students in our accelerated online program, I know you guys were not eligible for cash grants before. You will be eligible this time around. Jose, you do not have to apply for the cash grants. We will be identifying all of our students, and we'll begin distributing monies in the fall semester. We are planning to begin the distribution of these funds on August 27th. So just keep that in mind. Bear with us as we do the preparations to issue out these monies to you. These funds have nothing to do with your financial aid. If you are receiving Pell Grant, Texas Grant scholarships, that really does not matter. You will receive these cash grants no matter what. So just keep that in mind. All of our students are eligible to receive the cash grant. The only difference is the award amount. Federal regulations do require us that we prioritize students with exceptional need. Again, at UTRGV, we have defined students with exceptional need as those students with a zero EFC as determined by the FAFSA. But even if you have an EFC of 1 or greater, or you have not done your FAFSA, you will still be able to receive the cash grant. However, it will be $750. So we will be beginning our distribution of our cash grants beginning August 27th. You do not have to apply. We will automatically be providing these funds to you. Now, there are a couple of things that we do need to do. If you do not have an outstanding tuition and fee balance, those funds will automatically go out to you beginning August 27th. If you do have a tuition and fee balance, we will be sending you a communication via your UTRGV email. It's very important that you check your UTRGV email frequently to a link where you can either let us know if you want us to apply those funds to your balance or if you want us to issue those funds out to you. So again, if you do not have an outstanding tuition and fee balance, then we will go ahead and begin sending out those funds starting August 27th. If you do have a balance, we will give you the option to let us know if you want us to apply that balance to your student account or if you want us to send those funds out directly to you. So we do have to give our students with a balance the option to determine if they want us to apply it to their balance. And this way, there's less, you have less worries as far as having to cover your remaining tuition and fees. So just keep that in mind, students. No balance, you'll start receiving those monies August 27th. If you have a balance, we'll be communicating with you so that you can let us know if you do want the funds applied to your student account or not. It's not required, but we do need to give you that option. So keep that in mind, students. Cash grants will be available to all of our students in the fall semester. You do not need to apply. A FAFSA is not required. However, the FAFSA does help us identify which are our students with exceptional need. Again, our students with exceptional need are those students that have a zero estimated contribution, and that is determined by the free application for federal student aid, otherwise known as the FAFSA. So just keep that in mind, students. Here at UTRGV, we look for every way possible to support our students. We know that COVID has thrown a lot of curveballs our way. And so through the Liftoff program, we are hoping that we can provide you some financial relief. We definitely do not want you to stop your education. So please ensure that you take advantage of the program by registering full-time by August 1, which is 12 hours for undergraduate students, 9 hours for graduate students. And then our financial aid disbursements, for those of you that do qualify for financial aid, we should be sending out those disbursements out to you before classes begin. And then starting that first week of class, August 27th, we will begin distributing the cash grants. For additional information on our cash grants, you can go to utrgv.edu/HEERF, HEERF, and you can find some additional information on the cash grants. Basically, the information that I just shared with you, you can also find it on our HEERF webpage. So we do hope that you take advantage of both programs, that you continue your education, and that these funds that are being made available to you can help you cover any expenses, any unforeseen needs that you may have. The cash grants are for you. You can use that to help with any COVID-related expenses that you may have. We know some of you may need assistance to upgrade your laptop, your computer, get some software, internet services, food, medical expenses, and so forth. So the cash grants are being sent out to you so you can use as needed. The tuition relief, again, is only for tuition and mandatory fees that are not covered by gift aid, and we will assist you with up to $1,000. International students can fill the FAFSA, Ophelia. If you have never done the FAFSA and you need assistance in completing the application, you can either visit us at our Youth Central office in Edinburgh or Brownsville, and we do have a computer lab in Edinburgh to help, and we do have staff available to help you complete the FAFSA. In Brownsville, we also have some computers in our lobby, and we do have some staff available to help you complete the application. So yes, some of our international students do fill out the FAFSA to seek loans. Unfortunately, our international students are not eligible for the federal grants, but you can apply for student loans. I never encourage students to apply for loans if they're not needed. However, student loans that are offered through the financial aid application are a form of financial aid because the federal government subsidizes the interest. So sometimes students, and a lot of us are a little hesitant about incurring student debt. Keep in mind that you're borrowing from the federal government, so you don't have to repay those loans until you graduate, or you stop attending school, or you fall below half-time enrollment. I always tell my students, if a loan is what you need to continue your education, please do so. You don't have to borrow the full amount of the loan. If all you need is $500 or $800, you can go ahead and just request the amount of the loan that you need. You don't have to take out the full amount. Definitely, we don't want students to be graduating with high student debt, but the intent of the student loans is to help our students fund their education. So again, loans are available if you are able to do your financial aid application and qualify for those funds. Mariana is asking if students have maxed out on all of their financial aid, can they still qualify for the Liftoff? Absolutely. Mariana, the Liftoff program does not have a financial aid eligibility requirement. The only thing that we are looking for is a full-time enrollment. And I know you're asking if we'll have the Liftoff program in the spring semester. It's dependent on funding at this point. Again, the Liftoff program is being funded by the university. These are not federal funds. So if we are able to fund our Liftoff program for the spring, then you'll hear from me again. I'll ensure to do another Facebook Live session to inform our students about our spring programs once we have those finalized. But as of right now, priority is our fall semester, so please ensure that you register as soon as possible. Before we wrap up, I just want to provide a few reminders. Students, for financial aid, for the cash grants, especially the cash grants, if you have not signed up for direct deposit, please do so as soon as possible. That is the fastest way that we can get these funds into your hands. If you have not signed up for direct deposit, please go to my utrgv.edu, log in with your UTRGV credentials, go to Assist, My Finances, and then direct deposit. Enter your routing account number, and your banking information, which includes your routing number and your account information. That is the fastest and the safest way for us to get those funds into your hands. International students, as soon as you're here, if you haven't set up a bank account, do so as soon as possible, and then ensure that you sign up for direct deposit via Assist. For those of you, if for whatever reason you're not able to sign up for direct deposit and we have to send you a check, please ensure that you read the requirements on that check. Those checks expire in 30 days. If you do not cash that check within 30 days, we do have to void it and we're not able to reissue it. One of the things that we're running into is that a lot of our students don't have an accurate mailing address. So please update your address. Again, go to Assist, your personal information, and update your mailing address. So direct deposit, mailing address. And again, Liftoff, the deadline is August 1. The cash grant distributions will begin August 27th. Visit our Fall Liftoff page as well as our HERF page to find more information regarding our Fall Liftoff program and our cash grant funding that we'll be sending out to our students in the fall semester. With that said, thank you so much for having joined me this afternoon. We are very excited to see all of you on campus this fall semester. Visit us at utrgv.edu commitment so you can find a little bit more information about how our fall semester will look like here at UTRGV. So stay safe, vaqueros, and visa.